Lock your doors and check under your skin, because we're about to reveal the shocking parasites that lurk inside humans. Did you know that there are parasites that can live inside us? In this video, we'll explore some of the most terrifying parasites that have been known to infest the human body, from internal organ parasites to blood-sucking vampires. This is a journey you won't forget. Buckle up and prepare to be infected with knowledge. Now, before we embark on this thrilling expedition, let's take a moment to understand the concept of parasites and the profound impact they have on human health. Parasites are organisms that thrive at the expense of their hosts. Some are microscopic, while others are visible to the naked eye. But they all share one thing in common: the ability to wreak havoc on our bodies. The unsettling eye parasites. Are you familiar with the concept of eye parasites? It may sound like something out of a horror movie, but these tiny creatures can actually infest the human eye and cause serious health issues. Among the most unsettling of these parasites are eye worms, which can make their way into the eyeball and cause a host of uncomfortable symptoms. Eye worms enter the eye through contact with contaminated water or soil, or through the bites of infected insects. Once inside, they can cause redness, itching, and a sensation of something moving inside the eye. In rare cases, they can even cause vision loss or blindness. But perhaps what's most fascinating and disturbing about these parasites are the real-life stories of individuals who have battled them. From a man in India who had a 15-inch long worm removed from his eye, and a woman in Oregon discovered she had been hosting a colony of eye worms for over a week. These anecdotes highlight the very real impact that eye worms can have on a person's life. So what can be done to prevent eye worm infections? Proper hygiene and avoiding contact with contaminated water and soil are key, as is seeking medical attention as soon as symptoms arise. The disturbing dermatophytes, skin parasites. Let's turn our attention to the world of skin parasites. Dermatophytes are sneaky little fellows hiding in plain sight and disguising themselves as harmless fungi. They thrive in warm and moist environments like gym locker rooms and public swimming pools, waiting for unsuspecting victims to come their way. They can also be transmitted through contact with infected animals or contaminated objects. It's like a spy movie where these villains silently infiltrate our lives. But don't worry, we'll expose their tricks and learn how to keep them at bay. The notorious itch, a persistent reminder of a dermatophyte's presence. These critters feed on the keratin in our skin, nails and hair, causing irritation and discomfort. But the itch is not their only weapon. Dermatophytes can also cause redness, scaling, and even blisters. It's like a horror movie unfolding on our skin. Scabies infestations are known to spread rapidly in crowded places, such as schools, nursing homes, and even within families. So it's vital to identify and treat scabies promptly to prevent further transmission and put an end to the incessant itching. Prevention is key when it comes to dermatophytes. We'll unveil a series of practical tips to protect ourselves, including keeping our skin clean and dry and wearing breathable fabrics. The vicious vampires, blood-feeding parasites. When it comes to parasites that live inside humans, there are few things more terrifying than blood-feeding creatures. These vicious vampires are some of the most painful and insidious parasites around, and they can cause serious health problems if humans are left unchecked. One of the most well-known blood-feeding parasites is the mosquito. These tiny insects may seem harmless enough, but they are actually responsible for transmitting a range of deadly diseases including malaria, dengue fever, and Zika virus. When a mosquito bites a human, it injects saliva that contains anticoagulants, which prevent the blood from clotting. This allows the mosquito to feed for longer periods of time, but it also increases the risk of disease transmission. Another blood-feeding parasite that is notorious for causing health problems is the tick. These small arachnids attach themselves to humans and animals and feed on blood for several days. Ticks are responsible for transmitting a range of diseases including Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and babesiosis. The bites of some ticks can also cause paralysis, which can be life-threatening if it affects the respiratory muscles. But blood-feeding parasites aren't just limited to insects and arachnids. There are also a number of worms that feed on blood, including the hookworm and the schistosome. These parasites enter the body through contaminated water or soil, and then migrate to the intestines or other organs where they feed on blood. The symptoms of a worm infestation can include anemia, abdominal pain, diarrhea, and fatigue. So what can be done to protect against these vicious vampires? The best defense is to take precautions to avoid being bitten or exposed to contaminated soil or water. This may include wearing long sleeves and pants, using insect repellent, and avoiding areas with high tick populations. It's also important to regularly check for ticks after spending time outdoors, and to seek medical attention if you develop any unusual symptoms. Internal organ parasites. What exactly are internal organ parasites? Put simply, they are any parasitic organisms that live inside our bodies, specifically within our organs. This includes the liver, the lungs, the intestines, and even the brain. Common examples of internal organ parasites include tapeworms, flukes, and protozoans like Entamoeba histolytica. So how do these parasites get inside us in the first place? Well, there are a few different ways. In some cases, we can pick them up from contaminated food or water. For example, if you drink water that has been contaminated with fecal matter containing the eggs of a parasite, you could end up with an infection. Similarly, if you eat raw or undercooked meat that has been contaminated with parasites, you could end up with a tapeworm or other internal parasite. Another way that internal organ parasites can get inside us is through the bites of certain insects. For example, mosquitoes can transmit the parasite that causes malaria, while ticks can transmit the parasite that causes Lyme disease. Once inside our bodies, these parasites can wreak havoc on our organs and overall health. They can cause symptoms like diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, fatigue, and even seizures in some cases. In severe cases, they can lead to organ failure and even death. So what can we do to get rid of internal organ parasites? The first step is to get a proper diagnosis from a healthcare provider. This typically involves a physical exam, blood test, and another diagnostic test like stool samples or imaging scans. Once a diagnosis has been made, treatment typically involves a combination of medication and lifestyle changes. For example, you may need to take antibiotics or antiparasitic drugs to kill off the parasites, while also making changes to your diet and hygiene habits to prevent reinfection. It's also important to note that prevention is key when it comes to internal organ parasites. This means practicing good hygiene habits like washing your hands regularly, cooking meat thoroughly, and avoiding drinking or swimming in contaminated water. Additionally, if you are traveling to an area with a high risk of parasitic infections, you may need to take additional precautions like taking anti-malarial medication or wearing protective clothing to prevent insect bites. The world of parasites is a horrifying and fascinating realm that often goes unnoticed by the average person. From eyeworms that invade our vision to dermatophytes that cause skin nightmares and blood-feeding creatures that transmit deadly diseases, parasites have the ability to disrupt our lives in unimaginable ways. Even more alarming are the internal organ parasites that can silently invade our bodies, affecting our organs and overall health. When it comes to internal organ parasites, proper diagnosis and treatment are essential. Medical professionals play a vital role in identifying these parasites and prescribing appropriate medication to eliminate them. Remember to check under your skin from time to time, because the shocking parasites that lurk within humans are a reality we cannot afford to ignore.